Hey guys, Jeremy here with MHE Main Entertainment in our latest episode of MetaReviews. And today we're covering the Broadway musical Hamilton, which was just released on the streaming service Disney Plus not too long ago, actually. And so we decided to take a look at it and see what each of our individual thoughts on it. So for those who don't know, Hamilton the play is a play produced by this man named Lin Manuel Miranda, who you may recognize from his soundtracks in other Disney movies like Moana. But the play is about the rise and fall of the life of Alexandar Hamilton, who is one of the founding fathers of America, who was there from the very beginning of the uprising to the American Revolution, to the signing of the Declaration, and the eventual creation of the American National Treasury Department.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
A lot of good information, Jeremy.
Okay, so I kind of want to know what everyone's thoughts are on this. So Mike, what did you think? Because I know that when we first talked about it, I was like, you said like, oh, you know, musicals aren't really your thing, which is understandable because it's not everyone's thing.
Everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had friends tell me that like, oh, I've tried watching this, you know, for the first 5 minutes and I just couldn't get into it. I was like, that's completely fine. But like, what did you think kind of going into it? Mainly in part because, you know, it kind of made you forced to watch it, but also because it's kind of a new experience for you. In the sense where it's not your typical play, right? It's actually, instead of like a lot of singing, it's actually just a lot of verse rap to tell the story of what's going on in the play. Yeah. So what did you think overall?
Like you said, it was a different type of movie for me. Definitely, it was an experience.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes it was kind of hard to follow like what the storyline was going because it moved really fast.
Yeah.
But there was really no acting in it. Like you said, it's all singing. So they're trying to like sing and act out everything as they go along. So it made it a little bit hard for me to like follow. But I really enjoyed all the music. I really enjoyed like all the wordplay. You know, how they kept it in that theme, but they still use like words, you know, like how everything like just came together was really, really good.
Right.
The dancing and choreography I felt like was like super top notch, especially in the moments where it showed like things were in slow motion behind them and the way that like, you know, they moved very slow, like all that stuff was like super cool.
Yeah.
All in all, I did really enjoy it actually. You know, it was really good. Yeah, it's just something that I'm not used to, but overall I felt like it was a very good play.
Do you have like a favorite song?
I don't even know the title of the song. So like,
I have my favorite.
Yeah,
actually,
Carrie has her.
Actually, I really liked when the king was singing.
Oh,
every time the king came in and he sang his like his verses.
Yeah. Hilarious, honestly. Well, what did you think, Quincy? I know you said you're a huge fan of George Groff, who played the.
Yeah, well, I'm only a huge fan of George Groff because Sven from Frozen. So he's the voice of Sven. But I first saw him in Glee. So Jonathan Groff is from Glee. And, you know, I know his singing is like always on par. But another person actually that I really like is Leslie Odom Jr., the guy who opened the show. So he actually was on like a musical type show, which was directed by Steven Spielberg, which was Smash. And so that's where when I first saw him, I was like, oh, I recognize this guy. And, you know, what's so funny is that the musical community is actually so small. They kind of like, you know, cycle through a lot of different of the same actors. So, you know, seeing Jonathan Groff and then seeing Leslie Odom Jr. was not surprising for me. Yeah. But, you know, my favorite song was like the opening. You know, I thought they did a really good job of, doing the storytelling, you know, saying all these different things. I thought it was also interesting that Lin Manuel Miranda, who plays Hamilton, he actually is the person who wrote it too, right? He wrote the whole playwright. But yeah, I mean, I you know, I've liked Rent, you know, maybe not so much Phantom of the Opera. I like that a little bit. But you know, when it came to, you know, like Glee is almost like kind of a musical type of, you know, TV show. But you know, like I was a huge fan of Smash, and because of that, it kind of opened my world to like things that happen behind the scenes with musicals, where you have to like write the book for the musical and then get your composer to kind of create all the music that layers on top of that. But the only thing that was difficult for me, and I know they can make musicals out of anything like Wizard of Oz and all these other things, Hamilton for me was a hard pill to swallow, because I was like, I never really liked history when I was a kid. So watching this was like, I'm watching people sing about history and I'm having a hard time. So, but yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that made me get through it all was the music. I think if I was watching Hamilton as a biography or even just like a piece on history, I probably just would have not watched the whole thing.
Right. Well, and then for everyone who doesn't know, George Groff is the one that plays the king, who portrayed the king in the play, and then Leslie Odom Jr. was the man who portrayed Aaron Burr, the man who shot Hamilton at the end. Yeah. So overall, I think it was good. Sorry. Yeah. So I heard. What did you think, Carrie?
Well, going on Quincy with the whole Jonathan Groff. Apparently, from what I saw, another video that they had another person that played the king because he was the first, right? Jonathan Groff was the first.
I think they switched.
And then they switched it because they were going to record this and they wanted all the original cast. So that was pretty neat for them to do, just get all the original cast. So they would just record this whole performance.
I watched like an interview of like the whole process of like them recording this entire play. It's like apparently it's like several performances throughout the week.
I would bet, because I was pretty shocked of like all the angles that they were able to get.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, from the opening, I was like, oh man, is it just gonna be one camera angle from afar?
Like your stage,
and then it's gonna be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm really in a in the theater watching that far.
like for instance, you're really in the face of King George as he's singing, and you can like actually see like his spit coming out when he's like singing out loud.
If you were in the audience, you wouldn't even know, because you would hardly see it, even in the first row.
All of that extra detail in there, just pure pleasure.
Well, I figured they could film it pretty well, because I watched The Waitress, which is another musical that they recorded, and like when they did the performance of She Used to Be Mine, like they did multiple angles. So I was thinking the same thing as you, Carrie, but when they started switching the angles, I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't think I can just sit here pretending that I'm in the audience watching this musical.
Yeah.
So
and I know for me, I think one of my favorite scenes in the whole play was the part where Hamilton and Eliza are getting married. And like the elder sister, Angelica Schuyler, she's like giving a toast to the bride and groom, right? But like in the middle of that verse, like they kind of like stop and do a rewind back history to like a previous scene, and showing like the time when Angelica first met Hamilton at this party, right? And it kind of gives her an inner dialogue of like how she actually thought he was really cute, and like, oh, I would totally marry this dude if he was actually rich, if it wasn't constrained to society and on all of that jazz. So I thought that was a really cool way to like show more character background or development for a character that seemingly doesn't really have much of a impact on Hamilton,
the history
of Hamilton.
And then also to her song, it was just so fitting for it, because it's literally called Satisfied. And when you like watch this whole entire Broadway musical, you can see how he's not a satisfied person. And then so that's why her song, and then also Eliza's song, was like one of my favorites. And then but my all-time favorite was You'll Be Back by King George.
Oh,
that's my all-time favorite song.
And You'll Be Back.
It's cool because Jonathan Groff has such a versatile voice where he can do the
so
musical,
good,
but he could also do like some kind of pop. So it's like, I think just the tone of his voice kind of creates that whole like kind of like modern vibe, but then also be able to carry it on as a musical. Which is hard. It's hard.
He honestly does a good job, like of portraying like the king in a mocking way,
Mm-hmm.
without it actually being like straight up.
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm mocking.
It was funny.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, just the way
Like,
him singing, and then him having like, you know, his expressions on his face, and just having like a plain like, it's like, to me, that's like one of the hardest things to do, I would feel like.
Yeah.
No, it is. I mean, but luckily, I mean, he has a lot of experience.
Or even the way that he walked into each scene too was I like the way he did that too.
Yeah.
It had like a flair to it.
Yeah.
Definitely was the king, right? Was the king.
I wonder like how he felt when he had to perform it in front of like the prince and princess of England.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably was nervous. I'm pretty sure
he was probably sweating even more and spitting more.
His great grandfather or something, and like here's his Broadway actor, like, you know, portraying him in like kind of in a city way.
Yeah, the real deal, right?
Yeah. Kind of. I can imagine like what was going through in his mind. Like, oh my god, I'd freak out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think
but definitely I would want to say, like, after watching something like this for the first time, it's like I give them props on how much they have to memorize, you know, from the songs, all the wordplay. Like, it's crazy. And it's like 2 hours long.
Right.
This one, I give them all praise, because just memorizing everything, especially you got to rap.
Rap.
It's like, okay, I praise everyone that's in this musical.
Yeah, well, because you have to memorize the lyrics, right? You got to memorize the cues, and then you got to remember the dancing. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they probably don't have like a teleprompter or anything, you know, to kind of get them going. But and because
they memorized all that.
It's 2 hours and 30 minutes to go through that whole thing. Would like just blows my mind. You know, so much pressure, right? Because you're like, oh shoot,
that like almost every night, you know.
I know.
They're on stage, like when they're on tour, so like they can't mess up ever.
Yeah.
And like I don't think there was ever like a prop they could use to like put lines down, because like I know like in some plays, like for example, there's this one called the Book of Mormon where you could actually have the Book of the Mormon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then you can just use it as a guide, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
but you couldn't have any of that in Hamilton. Like everything is moving so quick and nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, no rest or pause.
Well, it'd be the worst thing. You forget the lyrics and you're all paused and everyone's looking at you like, and lies. And you're
I think if you mess up in this play, like you can probably sense it already. That they messed up.
You're like, oh shoot.
Because just watching this, you know, on a streaming service, able to watch this, you can just see how effortlessly they all play this whole musical. Yeah. So it gives me more props for them in doing this and just seeing how much of a hard work. Because I think if I were just sitting in as a regular audience in the theater, I wouldn't be giving like that high praise.
Yeah.
But I think just watching it on the streaming service, like seeing it more up close, and everything, it's like you have all my praise for you. It's like it's like well done.
For it to be flawless, right? For it to be flawless.
Yeah.
Bow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they're all really just really talented people. Hey guys, Jeremy here with MetaReview Entertainment, just kind of quickly bringing you away from the MetaReview video. I know things are getting really interesting now. I'm about to say something really crazy, but I just wanted to spend a few minutes to let you guys know, if you haven't heard already, we have a store at MetaHumanStore.com where we do weekly giveaways on our social media. So make sure you go ahead and follow us, otherwise you're missing out on winning some really cool free stuff. Secondly, all of our meta reviews and meta talks are uploaded onto our YouTube channel every week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and punch the notification bell so you don't miss out on these kind of cool things. And finally, if you love more geek news and stories, then you'll love our main website at MetaHumanEntertainment.com. That's MetaHumanEnt.com. We update it every day, so if you like that kind of material, make sure you share it with your friends and let us know in the comments or in our social. But enough about that. I'll let you guys get back to review. I'll see you guys later. Okay, so I mean, now that we kind of like, you know, went over like what we all liked about the show. Like, I wanted to also discuss like just like the future of like the streaming and Broadway plays, because this is the first time that this Broadway play has been of this caliber has been like presented on a streaming service, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, you have like you've had Broadway plays in the past uploaded onto the internet, right? But never in a format where it's purposely recorded for streaming services or for online.
Yeah, because I think Cats they recorded it and I saw it uploaded and I was watching it. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat, but
Cats,
you're saying
Rob, Mamma Mia, even they're all like uploaded onto the internet, but they're all in the Broadway play format, not the movie format that we saw in Hamilton.
Right. Yeah.
So you think like going forward, like this is something that Disney is going to like,
Well, I feel like the industry does need it. Like right before the pandemic, a lot of people had to cancel their seats to like a lot of musicals in New York, and they were just like, oh, we travel five hours from, like maybe like North Carolina or somewhere close by, that they had to like go there and then refund their tickets and then of course not be allowed in. And I think if it's going to be like this, I mean, of course for streaming, it's hard to tell how profitable streaming is. Like I have no idea because there's no advertising, there's numbers that Netflix, announces, but it doesn't really gauge like how much money do you really make off of, that, because you're not basing it off of ticket sales. So
I did hear there's a huge spike in people subscribing to Disney Plus just because of Hamilton.
I imagine so. Yeah. This was like, well, I mean, that makes sense because like this is one of the plays that everyone in the entire world wanted to watch, but really couldn't because it's always sold out.
Right. But then see, so on top of that, right, it's like, like a direct correlation between making money with ticket sales at the box office, like in this theater. But now it's like streaming where, Carrie's mentioning people are signing up for Disney Plus, but like Disney Plus has a lot of volume or like a lot of content, which it probably gets dispersed between all of them. So, I mean, I feel like maybe it'll follow very similarly to the Spotify model, where like people who produce music and they play it, like they just get pennies on the dollar. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon has the Amazon like library where you can check out books. But my friend who's a publisher said that you only get paid when you actually read through the book. So like they actually track how much time you spend on each page, and then they pay you based off of that, right? So if you don't finish the book, you don't get paid. So like, I don't know how streaming's business model works, but it'll be interesting to see if it's profitable enough to like launch musicals in the future like this. Because when you think about it, once you watch the movie, you're not gonna, like, you can watch it unlimited times without paying more. But people like who go to theaters, right, you get paid for every transaction that individual comes through. So, like, is that worth it?
Yeah. I think as for me, that I do like musicals. I like watching musicals, and seeing this first time on a streaming service, for me particularly, it doesn't take the fact away that I'm not gonna go and watch musicals live,
right,
if they start putting it on streaming service, because there was a whole different feel.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different feel once you're in person and watching it live compared to watching it streaming. Because live, because just watching Hamilton, this was my first time watching Hamilton, and seeing it on a streaming service, it actually makes me want to go and actually see it in a live performance.
And I think of all people, you probably know better because you actually kind of like work in the theater industry, right? Where you see these live shows all the time. And because of that, you kind of have like, oh, hey, like there's a big difference between TV and live theater, right?
Yeah.
So.
I think the one thing I was like,
it's almost like watching a concert virtually and being at a concert. I think it's just the overall experience.
Or watching it on Fortnite. He's like, I'm watching a concert on Fortnite.
But I hope what one musical that I would love Disney to bring onto their platform is Lion King.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the one musical.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
That's the one musical I could watch like 20 times
over and
I
over.
would not get tired of it.
And I heard people cry when they watched the musical.
Like I was working it and I was almost about to cry.
Yeah.
How many times? I worked it how many times? I watched it like at least like maybe 15 times when they were here in Hawaii. Yeah. And it's like every time I worked it, it's like it doesn't get old for some reason.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, years, right? Years and years.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I remember watching that in New York when I was like in middle school. And I was like it was so spectacular. Like I was like it late at night and I was like, 14, maybe 13 years old but I was still like captivated by the entire performance.
Yeah.
Like it was enthralling. Yeah.
Well, if anyone can do it, it's Disney. Disney can do it. They have the rights and they apparently can do musicals like Hamilton, so they obviously have the resources.
Yeah. What about you? Is there any musical that you would want to see, Quincy, in like the Hamilton format?
Well, I mean, the hard thing is, like I would want to watch The Waitress because I think it's a really cool like coming of age story, and the music's really good. Like She Used to Be Mine is written by Sarah Bareilles, and like I hear it so many times. But I mean, everything, when it comes to Broadway, there's a guy named Jeremy who comes from, not you, Jeremy, but Jeremy from, that comes from Smash. And like they all have good voices. Like, that's what I really like, talking about what Carrie was saying, like, not only like do they have to memorize, they dance and do this live, but the fact of the matter is they have really good voices. It's not like overproduced, you don't have to have it go through any type of like, production. Like they're singing raw, with their natural voices. So that's something that's extremely commendable, for me, because I'm like, oh, this is good to listen to, like these people actually have, I mean, not saying that musicians don't have talent, but, like these people have talent where, they can sing and it sounds really great.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? I know that, I think you said you liked Phantom of the Opera one time or something, right? Or...
Yeah. I don't think I would really care to see it in this type of setting because I mean they already did so much with Phantom of the Opera already. Yeah. It's not so much a play or a show, but I think I would love to see Michael Jackson's one show filmed like this.
True.
But when it was in Vegas.
Yeah.
I always hear great things about it. I never watched it personally, but from my understanding of it, like the production is so like big and all the dancing and the music. I would love to see it in this type of setting where we can get more of like a closer view of everybody, kind of like how they did Hamilton with different angles. Yeah. I think that's one that I would like to watch, like this.
Got it. Yeah. For me, I would say, so there's just another play produced by Lin Manuel Miranda that predates Hamilton. It's called Into the Heights. So I heard a lot of good things about that one as well. And I know that they're making a movie off of it and it's supposed to come out late this year or early next year. I don't know. They probably pushed it back. But it's like one of the things like I kind of want to look at because, after seeing Hamilton, like I realized that, Lin Manuel is very, very good at wordplay. With like the characters and, having them speak in a way where it brings so much life into their actions. So I'm kind of curious to see like what he did before Hamilton with Into the Heights, because he said like, his family relates more to that story than what happens in Hamilton. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would think that would be a pretty cool addition to Disney Plus. But other than that, I mean, is there anything else you guys wanted to add that we haven't already covered?
No, I liked it. Overall,
I mean, I think we like went into like a full deep analysis. I feel like we were like in one of my English classes in college.
Or history classes.
If history class,
I know,
if history class was conducted like the way Hamilton is, maybe I would have I would focused more.
To American history.
Paid more attention.
Yeah.
I also learned more about the American Revolution from this than I did like in probably high school classes.
Which I mean, I think makes it a very digestible way of actually, doing the whole like history learning, right? Like people watching this, I would rather, like if you're a history teacher, you'd be like, hey, watch this, learn a little bit, listen to the music. It would be a lot easier than reading a textbook or, watching probably a History Channel documentary.
I would the hell out of like the rap verses in Hamilton than the textbook.
Or like who knows, maybe like now like schools or history teachers would probably like make this like a mandatory thing. Go and watch Hamilton, and then like like a paper on it or something. Yeah, like totally. That.
I mean, like we were talking about the Scarlet Letter and the Great Gatsby, right? Grades like that. So
true, very true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess that covers this episode of Meta Reviews. This is about the show Hamilton. If you haven't seen it already, I would highly suggest you watch it. I don't know about you guys, but I would definitely suggest it just because it's a different experience from your normal play.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it does teach you a little bit of history, so it's like a win-win, really. Until next time, guys. We'll see you in the next review. If you have any, if you saw the play and you liked it, let us know in the comments below. But make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for future videos. Till then, see ya.
See ya.
Peace.
Hey guys, Jeremy here, and we're giving away the ultimate stay-at-home pack. It's simple. All you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can join me and my co-hosts every week as we review video games, movies, and shows. One lucky subscriber will receive a 1-month free subscription to Disney+, Hulu, and Netflix. Plus, MetaReview Store will throw in a video projector to make movie night every night. So good luck, and I'll see you online. If you like geek news and entertainment, then make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell for more updates.